Euro 7 billion it cost Paris to put on the games.
It's fun. It's just fun to watch the hype and all that goes with football. You know, that's all well and good. But once the game starts, that's all. When you get down on the field level,
then they haul me underneath. There's a jail cell there, and they're holding me. And so for 4 hours, I was sitting there with a couple of drunk Irishmen. Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Lahnert, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast. It's episode 16. It's Jimmy and myself today, Jimmy Lackey, CEO and Prez of Kids Inc. I'm Lance Lahnert, your host for today, co-host. Jimmy, how's life?
you are the host. I'm just
No, you
muddy,
ask good questions.
I'm just muddy water over here hanging out.
I think it's co.
I'm telling you what, though, this is fun. I enjoy it. And I'm going to start off by saying this because I wrote this down. You and Maddie and Ashley getting to do this, and this is something that I've wanted to do for Kids Inc. for a good 2 years anyway, and the work that goes into it and all the setup that we have here, and every time somebody comes in to be a guest with us, they're impressed with what they see. I bring folks back here all the time to see this setup, and we've got something special here, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But I want to say thank you to all three of y'all for making this happen, because it's not easy, and it takes time out of everybody's schedule to get it done. But I think it's a good piece for Kids Inc. to have, and so shout out to all three of y'all for doing this every week. Yeah,
I just want to say what we do out here in front is so easy. We just ask questions, and you two ladies are amazing back there. They can't see them right now. Maybe we can turn the camera around, but really appreciate what you guys do. It looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
It's outstanding.
We're getting a lot of compliments. Cale Steed was blown away by he was our last guest of Press Pass Sports.
Yep.
Was blown away by the operation. He's been on a lot of these, and even does one himself. Yep. So we're very proud of what goes on behind the scenes. We have the easy job.
Yeah,
so it's impossible to make us look good. We're so old. Okay?
I always get a breakdown from my friend Carlton Bogus out in Dumas. He always sends
Carlton.
He always sends me an update every week what he thought of the podcast, and I'm telling you what.
Does he have a favorite one?
I don't know if he has one yet, but
okay.
I'm telling you what, he enjoys it. And he's positive about all of it, and we probably ought to have him on sometime. He's retired. Everybody in Dumas, Texas knows Carlton Bogus. He's a great guy and a sports fan. Deluxe. So maybe I'll holler at him and see if we can get him to come on.
Steve Forrest is a loyal viewer as well. Shout out to Steve. He's the voice of the Canadian Wildcats with Russell Gadboy. Russell might be one we want to bring on.
Yeah, I know Russell real well. Russell's dad, just so you know this, Russell's dad was my dad's very best friend.
Okay, cool.
Bob always went and took care of my dad when my dad had his heart surgery, and anytime Dad had issues with his knees. But Bob and my dad were the very best of friends, so I've known Russell a long time. He's 2 years behind me in school, and he played in my dad's golf tournament with me a year ago and hated every minute of it. But he played with me, and I appreciate him doing that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he did. He did not want to play golf.
Oh, I see.
But I think he really did it just.
Is he not very good?
No, he's a good little player. I don't think he's like me. I really don't enjoy playing golf anymore.
Really? What happened?
I can't play like I used to.
You know,
that's what it is.
I play in these little tournaments around here, and once I'm done, I'm like, I'm never doing this again, because I hit so many. When you're out just having fun, you can't just go out and have fun even now.
Not in a tournament.
No, not in a tournament. Yeah. Tournament, you hit so many bad shots.
So
I'm on
full transparency. Jerry Branch is our director of programs.
Who was on this podcast?
He and Lance played in the Budweiser Partnership?
Budweiser Partnership.
They played in the Budweiser Partnership and won their flight by.
Yeah, it's a badge of honor to win that flight.
But they had to play 36 holes the second day, and he said, man, I've never seen Lance grumpy. And he said Lance was so grumpy the last 9 holes because he said he just hated being.
I did.
He told me that.
I did. I didn't want any part of that. I'm like, this is enough golf.
That's why I don't play anymore.
This is enough golf. You win, go take it. I told them win. Just go win it from us, and they wouldn't take it from us.
Yeah.
But I did. But also when you're, you guys don't want to be bored by that. But when your driver's off, I was hitting it into other fairways, having to recover. Made a couple actually pretty good shots from, a little Seve Ballesteros stuff, but. It's a long day when you're not hitting it well.
And any of my buddies that are watching
this,
they know.
Wait, let's get real here. Jerry's friends who have imbibed a little bit, okay? I'm out there just trying to have fun, okay? Yeah. We're against it's a competition.
And he knows them.
Well, yeah, but no, it's against each other. And so there's a couple of points. His buddies who are already done, a little bit tipsy, they're going to come follow us. And that's like the last thing I want somebody to do.
They need to go watch the championship flight.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Get away from us.
Yeah.
And, he's over there chit-chatting with them like for 10 minutes, and you're like, man, let's just play.
Play golf.
Yeah. So
anyway, we go.
So it's even. I did get a little grumpy. I'm a very positive guy. But and you know what? If somebody had come and said, you're done, they win, I would have left.
So Kim played. My wife plays, loves to play golf. And so when she goes and plays, you know what I go do?
What?
I have a shop up at the top. We play golf out at Canyon Country Club, a little 9-hole course outside of Canyon. And Kim will go play golf, and I go up to the shop, and you know what I do? I play my drums. That's stress release.
Speaking of golf real quick, it's in the Olympics is on big time today. We're going to visit with that a little bit. We're going to talk, Rock Rose. We're going to talk Josh Lynn, second year starting at West Texas. A couple more things, but we hope you stick with us. It won't be all golf talk, but I was shocked how much it cost. I looked it up, like how much it actually costs to put on an Olympic Games. And is it worth it? That's going to be our question for you. It's going to be in L.A. in 2028, the Summer Olympics. But we're going to take a break here at the Fieldhouse Podcast. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll be right back. And I wasn't that grumpy, Jerry. Just remember that.
Let me guess, your kids want to play sports and you want to find them a great team to be on? Well then come on, Kids Inc. is registering for fall sports right now. Woohoo! But seriously, we've got tackle and flag football, cheerleading, volleyball, outdoor soccer. That's a lot of options. Check out our new website to register your kids to play, learn, and grow this fall season at Kids Inc. That's www.kidsinc.org.
Hey, welcome back into the Fieldhouse Podcast. It's a production of Kids Inc. Sports Network. Thanks for joining us. Just having a good time with Jimmy today. No more golf stories, okay? That got me a little fired up.
Golf's off the table.
Sorry about that. I will say one thing. With the Olympics, when we grew up, it was all amateurs. It made it so special. No one was getting paid. They just, those stories were so epic. And now it's the pros playing. And they play golf and the basketball, obviously, with the NBA players. The best of the best. Is that how you like to see it?
Let me tell you what I do like to see. If you watch Scotty Scheffler get his gold medal.
Cry.
Man, his respect for his country.
Oh, yeah.
What it meant to him. And he's the best at that craft. Those are the moments that I appreciate the most, is when they understand the gravity of the situation in the moment.
So you want the guys who are making millions.
If that's how they're going to do it, put our best out there too. If they're going to go back the other way, then I'm good with that too. But that's not ever going to go back.
Yeah, the genie's out of the bottle. There's no back. I miss the days of pure amateurs.
I do too.
I don't know if you knew this, but like if you win a gold medal for the U.S., you get for the NBA guys and the high dollar PGA guys, it's nothing, but you get like $32,000. For a silver, it's like 22, and then goes down like 12 or something like that. So they actually get a stipend for winning the medal, which I didn't know to. Now, for a guy like Scotty Scheffler, I hope he would donate that to an amateur that he enjoyed watching to help them continue their career.
He's just such a good dude.
Yeah. But I want to see the amateurs. I see, if I want to watch the NBA, I'll watch the NBA.
Let me tell you what I worry about.
What?
Truth. My wife and I talk about this all the time. I worry about those athletes from those communist countries that don't do well. Because
scary.
Take Kim.
South Korean, yeah.
South Korean.
Yeah.
He's got to go
serve his country
in the military because he didn't win a medal.
Long story short, if he would have got third, his service in the military, which is a required 2 years, for all males in South Korea, would have been
exempt.
and he didn't get third.
So you
Yeah.
know,
I agree with you. I agree
that's
with it.
I mean, I'm a
But I mean, living there anyway. I mean, it's
sure.
dicey. So, hey, one other thing while we're on the Olympics, or two other things. Break dancing's in this year for the first time. It's kind of, I know you're laughing at that, but I learned the rules. It's kind of cool. They play like a song they've never heard, so they have to kind of perform to that song. So that's kind of how they're judged. Because I said, how are you going to judge this? So they actually have a method to the madness. So I think the first year I'll be watching it. Is there another sport you would like to see in the Olympics that's not in?
So I thought flag football was being added this year.
It is an experiment sport.
Okay. Because we've been, obviously with the Rock Rose Project, the field size that they use and the format that they play is something that we're considering a migration to, and I never saw any of it. And so I'm glad to know that it was
it's kind of an experiment sport. They do those first.
Yeah.
You know, baseball's been eliminated. We're old school baseball guys. Maybe they should put baseball back in. I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes, by the way, said, if there's a 7-on-7 team, I want to play quarterback.
I saw a clip of him.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, I saw a clip of him on ESPN last night in practice. Made a pass behind his back, touchdown right up the middle to his running back. They never saw it coming.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
pretty
special.
He is a special guy.
Yeah.
The other thing, Jimmy, Euro $7 billion it costs Paris to put on the games. Now there's media rights, sponsorship. You know, obviously the ticket income is pretty good. But and then private investments, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But you have to change your infrastructure on projects. But seeing the Olympics in Paris is absolutely amazing with the Eiffel Tower. I mean, how cool is it? You played volleyball and you look up and there's the Eiffel Tower above you. So I love that part of it. But you're talking $7 billion. So is that worth a country to host or a city like L.A. to take on that expense?
I'm probably not the best guy to ask that question. I'm glad I don't have to be the one involved in it because the return on investment, I don't see it. And maybe it's there for someone or some group, but my gosh, the amount of work and the construction changes that you have to make to your whole city's infrastructure to do something like that, on top of bringing all these people in, security and everything involved.
Volunteers.
That's an undertaking I'm glad I don't have to be a part of.
The estimate then is they'll bring in 8 to 11 billion, and that's new, whatever they call new visitors, things like that. So if you can handle all the headaches and all that, I think it's worth it eventually.
I would suspect that no one's doing that if they're not making their money back.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad that's not something.
It's too much. I mean, let's just play some games and go watch them and have fun. You don't need to make these. You don't need to spend $7 billion on.
What about the kid that's 16? The Quincy, what's his last name? Wilson. 16-year-old's going to be on the 4x400 meter relay for the U.S. He'll be the youngest male athlete ever in track and field for the U.S. when they run that 4x400. I think it's today. Actually, I think it's this morning.
Basically a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. 16 years old.
That's amazing. Yeah. What I like about it, I'm with Jimmy. I don't know. As you get older, it's kind of weird. You cry a lot more, or I do. Actually, after my dad passed away about 12 years ago, that's where I started crying. Like, I got married way late in life. Like, let's come clean on this. I waited till I was 65. I mean, that's unheard of. And don't laugh at me back there, okay? But I waited till first time I got married, I was 65, and most people look at you like you're crazy. But I couldn't even get my vows out. I was crying. You know what I mean?
That's okay.
No, it is okay. But I'm just saying that's part of the emotions I get with the Olympics, especially when they play the national anthem. I don't know why that hits me so hard. Some of those guys are up there like singing it. It's awesome. Some of them really feel it. You know what I mean? But I find that one of the best parts of watching the Olympics, and I wish they would show more of them. They just show a handful of them.
Yeah.
I think that should be – maybe I need to go get on Peacock, and maybe they show every one of those somewhere. But I think on the national, like the NBC feed, they should show those. But I don't know about you. That touches me big time.
Sure. That's what it's about. I mean, growing up, that's what it was about, was representing your country. And, you know, like you said, when it was all amateur, it was extremely different.
Yeah.
And it was all about representing your country. And
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool. I did go to the Montreal Olympics
Really?
in 1976.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And my mom, a different era. Would your mom and dad let you get on a trailways with, you paid $125. You got that for 90 days. You could go anywhere you wanted in the U.S. and Canada. So we got on a friend of mine, we got on this bus. That was our graduate present. No tickets,
That's very
no
cool.
place to stay. We stayed in the basement of a church, $2 a night, and they gave us juice and toast in Montreal, an old Montreal church. It was awesome. And I don't know if you've ever heard this story. You probably have, but let me tell this real quick. So at that time when an athlete won, a lot of like fans would have big flags, and you just follow them around the track and wave the flag as they're taking their victory laps. All right, so that we wanted to prove that we were in Montreal, people in Colorado Springs, friends, family, high school mates, you know what I mean, people like that. So we picked Frank Shorter. He had won the 72 Olympics in the marathon. Men's marathon, and he's from Boulder, Colorado.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So we sneak down to the bottom. It's the day of the Olympic marathon. They finish in the stadium. You know, they go out. So we get down to the bottom, and he gets second. Okay, so there's no victory lap. All right, I'm kind of stuck down there. I jump over the stands. I have an American flag. Run onto the track. Okay, as he's going up to get his medal, I say, "Hey, Frank, Colorado still loves you. Good job." And he takes the flag. Okay. When I turn around, there's all this security. If you look back in the video of the 76 Olympics, the Adidas suits that are kind of back in style, they were in style then, but they're all yellow dudes, all yellow people dressed in yellow. So I was scared to death, put on some pretty good moves, pretty good jukes. I'm proud of myself. Where I jumped out, Jimmy, was about this high, okay? Was about this high. Where I jumped in, I had to jump up, okay? Double chicken wing on me to the ground. They hold me, say, we got to respect what's going on right now with the Olympics. They play the national anthem. Frank Shorter puts the flag in the dirt, or, you know, puts it in the ground. It's waving. Then when he gets off his medal stand, he picks it up, and he's waving it as he walks out and then goes into the stadium, you know, underneath. Then they haul me underneath. There's a jail cell there, and they're holding me. And so for 4 hours, I was sitting there with a couple of drunk Irishmen who chastised me for going on the field. All they did was climb over, you know, and were running around. So they thought I was worse than they were, but I was scared to death. They called my parents' home, and if you've ever been to Montreal, it's heavy French Canadian. Heavy. If you want to learn French, you know, go there. It's talked all the time. Anyway, so they call up and they go, hey, they go, is there a Lance Lahnert there? And my name's Lance Lahnert, but is there a Lance Lahnert there? My dad says, does a Lance Lahnert live there? And he goes, yeah. Bam, they hang up. And that was it. So my parents didn't know anything until we got back into the States.
Holy smoke.
That's my
That's out of character for you. That's I really need to see that.
I've always wanted to call Frank Shorter and ask him what he did with the flag, if he ever remembers that.
You need to do that.
Yeah, he's getting older, so yeah. So
that's a Zoom call that needs to happen.
Yeah. We spent a little time on the Olympics. Thank you for letting me tell that story. But, Jimmy, a couple things before we hop out of here today. Josh Lynn, it's football. Texas high school football's here.
Yep.
That means college football, Cowboys, everybody's started up. But a lot of eyes, I think, will be on West Texas A&M this year. Josh Lynn's second year. I don't think you can judge a coach fully on their first year because you don't have all your guys. The portal's changed everything where guys can transfer in and out in a heartbeat. NIL, even though it isn't directly big bucks if you're a Division II player, if you're good, they come and get you. So the better players in Division II are now being placed into smaller Division I's so it's really a tough spot to be a Division II coach. But if you listen to him now, Josh Lynn, very, very honest guy, like they didn't like the product they put out there last year. The offense was a little stale, things like that. The kids were playing 100%. They have their entire offensive line back. So as you look at it, you're a Buff fan, and then you have new Vice President of Athletics, Doug Lipinski, in there as well. What do you think the WT program is going to look like this year?
Well, first off, I'm going to say this. Josh and I have become pretty good friends, he and his family, and I'm going to shout out to Pam. She's had some health issues here lately, and she's a tough fighter and getting better, and so prayers out for Pam and Josh on what's going on with their lives right now too, because the life is one thing, football's another.
Yeah,
and
for sure, no doubt.
But she's battling it hard and doing well, and I check in with Josh pretty regularly to check on Pam. But yeah, it's second year, and those expectations are only going to get higher as you go on. I mean, let's just be real. That's how it is. But he has an opportunity to put his kids in place and then be held accountable for what he puts on the field. He's been successful at Eastern. He's been successful at Nebraska Kearney in probably one of the toughest football divisions in Division II. When you're in there with Northwest Missouri and
definitely
Washburn and all that bunch. I mean, that's a tough conference.
Definitely the most physical in Division II.
Very much so.
That way, yeah,
very much so. And so it's not like he doesn't know what's going on. If you've been a coach's kid or you've been around at all, it takes a little time. And in this day and time, as fans, we don't have much patience, and that's where the rubber meets the road. Is that lack of patience on everybody's part. I read where we were picked 6th in the conference.
Yeah.
And so I remember this. I remember when Coach Carthel got the job, and that Donnie's one of my very dear friends. And we were sitting in my office in June. He just got hired after spring ball was already over. He didn't have anything to do with spring ball. They made a change. He got the job. And we're sitting in my office. And I asked him, we'd gone 5-27 in the last 3 years. I said, can you go 500 this year? And he looked me square in the eye and he said, we'll win the conference this year. And I leaned back in my chair and I said, okay, I'm listening. How are we going to do that? And he said, we're going to outwork every other coaching staff in the conference this summer. And the rest is history.
Yeah, for sure.
He won it in 05, 6, and 7. And so Donnie has a tremendous amount of respect for Josh. Their families have known each other for many, many years. We had a board meeting the day Josh was hired, and Donnie came up to me after the meeting and said, man, I'm glad they hired him. He said he will do well. So my litmus test with Coach Lynn all stems from, if Coach Carthel says, then, man, I'm all in.
Oh, he knows.
I'm all in with Coach Lynn. And so
Division II
we got to give him a little time.
Yeah, Division II is a different animal, fair or not, and he knows the Division II world as well as any coach out there. So I think it'll work. I'm looking forward to it.
We need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, well, let's
Josh,
do that.
I can get Josh. We can
use
get
your
Josh
connections there,
yeah,
Jimmy,
we can get
will
him on
you?
here. Yeah, we can get him on here.
Okay, use those connections.
Yep.
So, hey, we've got one quick break here, and then we'll be back. We're going to close it out. I'm going to ask Jimmy what his favorite and first memory of Texas high school football was. I'll let him know mine. And anything Jimmy wants to add. So hope you enjoyed our Olympic talk, our golf talk, and we'll be back. This is the Fieldhouse Podcast.
Ready to dive deep into the heart of sports? Then tune in, because that is exactly what we are here for at the Fieldhouse Podcast. But the Fieldhouse Podcast isn't just about us talking sports. It's about all of us, our community, our passions, and our love for the game. That's why we're reaching out to any and all local businesses who want to get in early on the action. Whether you're a restaurant looking to pack the house on game day, or a fitness center wanting to help our listeners take their game to the next level, we want to partner with you. By sponsoring the Fieldhouse Podcast, you're not just getting your brand out there, you're becoming a part of our sports family. Reach out to us today at fieldhouse@kidsinc.org. That's KIDSINC.org.
Welcome back in. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. It's a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. Thank you so much. We're just sitting here with Jimmy and myself today, having a wonderful conversation. It kind of weaved around, but we're here. Texas high school football is here. They've started a romantic, dramatic, intense time in a high school young man's life. Young girls, cheerleaders, the whole ambience of Texas high school football. Jimmy, you lived it. What's your first and favorite or favorite memory of Texas high school football?
Well, full transparency, I didn't get to live it because I didn't get to play. But I lived in a coach's house.
Yeah, no, that's part of it. You lived it.
I loved football and baseball. That's another story. But football, for me, I just love the game. And that game has passed me by in terms of X's and O's, the schemes and all the things that they do in this day and time and the terminology that they use. But I will go back to something that my dad said, and this I still believe this is true to this day, and I'll go to my grave saying, if you can't block and you can't tackle, you're not going to be very good. And so basics still matter, and those two fundamentals. We tell coaches that in youth, if you don't focus on anything else but teaching these kids how to block properly and how to tackle, because you know how many times you see trying to make an arm tackle, or they're trying to do, going and take their legs out and they're not even wrapping up. Those basic fundamentals, I mean, you wrap a kid up, they're probably going down. But if you try to go in there and shoot from the hip, in this day and time, some of those running backs are going to hurt you. And so I really go back to fundamentals with football about the blocking and tackling. The game itself, I know nothing about anymore. If I was in a huddle and they started calling a play, I wouldn't have a clue where I was supposed to line up.
I always think it's been a little complicated.
It is.
They make these kids call plays. You know what I mean? Why not make it simple as best?
You look at your good teams, look at their fundamentals. And they block well. That O-line that doesn't always get the credit. Your best athlete's probably at the quarterback position. You can pick those schools apart.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun this year. We got a lot of great high school quarterbacks. Speaking of that, around the Texas Panhandle. But one thing to your point is, the most physical team usually wins. Okay, let's face it. It's why those kids are out there. They like to hit. There's a reason they're out there, and they enjoy that part of the game, or they would not be out there. You know what I mean? There's some running backs and wide receivers who are pretty smart, and they don't want to be hit, and they know how to get away from people. But the majority of people out there just like the physicality of being a football player.
Yeah, they do, and that's what coaches thrive on, and that's what's going to get you on the field versus sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's just fun to watch the hype and all that goes with football. That's all well and good, but once the game starts, that's all. When you get down on the field level, they don't hear any of that.
They're
focused. Those kids have a job to do.
Do you have an absolute favorite memory?
Yeah, man, I don't know about a memory, but I just remember little things. Like, I can remember when Dumas played Phillips, and they were both black and orange. And sometimes you go to the game, you don't even know who's who. But, I mean, think about Phillips. They don't have a school anymore, but Dumas played Phillips.
Yeah. And Phillips is very good.
Yeah, and growing up as a kid and watching people that I knew my dad coached, some of those individuals. I remember the Bobby Lawfreys and players like that etched in my mind. Just getting to be around them.
Yeah, that's cool.
I will tell you this: the group ahead of me, my senior year in Dumas, the group that was ahead of us, probably top to bottom, when they went to high school as sophomores. In Dumas, we went through freshman and junior high. Top to bottom, the class of 79 from Dumas was probably the most talented, top to bottom group of athletes I know for sure that my dad ever coached. They were ranked second in the state going into football the senior year. That bunch was second in the state. And I may get a little bit of this wrong, so if my buddies want to correct me, they can. But I know we had Bruce Town went out with a knee, Dennis Bulls went out with a knee, Kent Hazen went out with an ankle. A couple of linemen went down just in the two scrimmages before the season even started. But, I mean, a whole plethora of starting group out of that senior class went down, and the season didn't go as well as they went. Kent Hazen came back the very first game. You talk about a game. We were in Levelland. His first game back, he had a broken ankle. He was the quarterback, and he scored 23 points by himself, either kicking, throwing, or running the ball. But that bunch was extremely talented, and to not get to see them do things to their full potential, that's probably my favorite group to watch and be around. But, yeah, as a kid, watching Dad and them coach those. But I remember Phillips. That was a weird thing. Everybody was black and orange, and I had no idea Phillips was this little bitty school place over outside Borger.
Yeah, that's cool. Colorado football was way different. I went to Air Academy High School. It's on the Air Force Academy. Great memories there. My memories of Texas high school football here are kind of selfish in that I covered over 1,000 high school football games during my writing career at the Globe News. So running down on a field, getting quotes, running back up trying to beat a deadline, that, was kind of the shtick I went through, and I liked it. Yeah. I liked it, but what I all got to see was amazing. You know what I mean? So many,
and you get
so many great memories.
The camaraderies that you make with those coaches and players.
Yeah.
That's special stuff.
But it's here, and so go out and support your teams.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for
Fantasy football. If today it's the draft.
Okay. Are you in it?
Our family does one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So today's the draft. You get to pick. You got the first pick, and you get to pick the first quarterback. Who you picking? NFL fantasy football.
Fantasy-wise,
who's going to be your number one quarterback this year?
Wow, that's a good one. Fantasy-wise, Stroud's going to put up big numbers for Houston. But I think you got to go with the man. I think you got to go Mahomes. He's not going to let you down. They're going to give him a chance. He'll have some average games, just the way they play the game, Kansas City. But you got to go with Mahomes.
Yep.
Who are you going with?
Brock Purdy.
Oh.
I'm going with him this time.
No, mistake. You just lost the league.
No, I don't
hopefully,
think so.
Hopefully you have like the 7th or 8th pick, and then you're going to be
he's a point getter. I had the Bills quarterback last year. He's good too, but Mahomes. I never get the first pick, so you don't ever have a chance at getting Mahomes.
Why not take? Yeah, okay.
So
if they take 6 or 7 quarterbacks in front of you, take the best wide receiver.
Okay? 100%. Always get the.
Can you imagine? We didn't grow up with fantasy football and how it's taken over the world.
Mark Gillespie and I started fantasy football. It was Mark's idea, and he came up with it. I'm going to say we were maybe in college.
So why didn't he market that?
I don't know. We had the Tom Landry Trophy. That was the name of our trophy. We literally had a physical trophy in the winter. There was a group of us from Dumas, and it rotated amongst us. But it was Mark's idea, and we had the Tom Landry Trophy.
Cool.
And the only way we could get the scores was from the newspaper.
Yeah.
They didn't have the internet back then.
No, not at all.
We figured it up, and we'd call each other and say, "Here's what everybody did." But you had to call in your rosters by Friday.
Billion-dollar business.
Didn't have Thursday games back then. So.
Yeah, billion-dollar business now. It's amazing what fantasy football is. Part of the game, part of everybody's life. It seems like.
Here's a left field question for you.
Okay.
What if we had our wives on here someday? Those two together are a little scary.
Yeah, they are scary. Let's do it.
What would they say?
I don't know. I think
Rhonda's good behind the mic. I don't know about Kim.
Kim would be awesome behind the mic. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know if I could sit here with her.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to sit here with them? You're not going to let it
you and I are going to have to sit here with them.
All right, we'll do that. That'll be one of our podcasts, okay? Rhonda will be all in. Rhonda's very, I've only been married a year, so she can't say that much. You know what I mean? You're in trouble.
Yeah, she can.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. I'm not scared.
We'll do it.
Here's some upcoming things for Kids Inc. And I'll let you get us out of here. Haley's got us set up for our very first clay shoot, October 26th. I'd never been to one, and our church had one a couple of weekends ago, and we went out and worked it. It was a lot of fun. Watching the guys do their thing with the shotguns and shooting those clay pigeons. I mean, I've tried. I have horrible depth perception, so I'm no good at it.
Jimmy, it's kind of taken over the golf scrambles because it's
a big thing.
It is fun and it moves. It moves fast.
It does. But we're having it out at the Amarillo Gun Club October 26th for those of you that are into clay shooting. We'll have our information out pretty quick. I think Haley's got everything ready to go, and I know Ashley's probably been putting a lot of that stuff together. But Haley got it all set up with the gun club, and we're going to do our very first clay shoot. Barry Lynch and some others that volunteered their time to help.
Barry Lynch, wow.
Yeah, so they're
speaking of high school football,
big
that's
time.
Where I first met him.
Yeah, so they're helping us with that. I'm appreciative to them and looking forward to that. Fall sports are underway. Maddie's got a big ad out running on the website right now. But if you haven't signed your kiddo up for one of our fall sports, it's time to get that done. Go to our website kidsinc.org, and let's get those done. Donate to Rock Rose Sports Park. we always need donations to finish this project.
Are we closer?
We are.
Are we closer?
I talked to our landowner this week. I really think we'll probably be moving dirt sometime in September or October.
That'll be a big
I really believe that. And obviously, when we do, there'll be a lot of media information out about that.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of fun.
We're getting close.
Yeah,
we're getting really close.
Yeah. Jimmy's favorite question.
I heard today, the Emerald of Venom are going back to being the Emerald of Dusters. Did you hear that?
No. Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I read about it this morning on one of the local news websites.
Okay.
Had the same Dusters logo that Donnie and them started
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
But
The whirlwind, little tornado type
thing. That was a little
yeah.
interesting.
That is interesting. I'm
rest in
surprised.
peace, Dwayne Thomas, WT grad, and a friend of ours, Steve Crackthorpe.
Steve
Thorper. He fought that Parkinson's disease for a long, long time. But
since 2000.
Yeah, 11 maybe, 12.
Yeah, 10 or 11. Yeah, great guy. Was such a good to me. I mean, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Steve was just one. He came with Coach Kelly from Eastern to WT and backed up Todd Mayfield, and then started his next year. And what a career he had. Went to Northern Arizona. His dad was a big coach in the college
at
ranks.
BYU, yes.
And
Coach Tulsa, Coach Louisville was the offensive coordinator at LSU.
And A&M.
And A&M, and then lost his.
We got to go to friends of ours lived in Valparaiso. Is that in Indiana? Outside of Chicago. And we went up there in 2000, and A&M played Notre Dame, and we went to that football game. And Steve was the offensive coordinator for A&M at that time, and Notre Dame beat A&M that day. But he was the offensive coordinator at A&M with Slocum.
Yeah.
And then went on to be there with Les Miles at LSU, and that's I think pretty much where he wrapped up his career, because that's when the Parkinson's hit him. But there wasn't a nicer guy than Steve Crackthorpe, and hated to hear that news. 59 years old.
Yeah. One time I was in the press box at Texas Tech. They were playing Texas A&M, and he saw me and he goes, "Hey, come on." And so he takes me into the assistant coach's room where they're getting ready for the game. Yeah. Introduces me to all those guys. Like, he didn't have to do that. He's got a lot more.
Class act.
Yeah, rest in peace. And then Dwayne Thomas as well.
Yep.
A superstar of West Texas.
Yeah, so. put WT on the map back in those days.
Yeah,
Mercury Morris and him. Oh my gosh, can you imagine them in the same backfield?
Yeah. I got to sit with him at Walmart. He used to come to Emerald and sign autographs.
Yeah.
And a very reflective, very intelligent. And, he wasn't really proud the way he was perceived with the Cowboys.
No,
you know what
not
I mean?
at all.
He was kind of misunderstood. He said
he and Coach Carthel were very, very good friends.
Yeah.
Donnie's the one that called me and told me the other day when this happened.
Yeah.
Donnie was pretty sad about it.
He would come talk to the Buffs when Donnie was the coach. So,
yep.
All right, hey, enough chitter-chatter. Let's hop out of here. We'll be back. Maybe we'll have the wives on sometime. That'll be very interesting for us anyway. Maybe not for you, but I would like to see what they have to say.
Okay.
All right, let's hop out of here. This was the Fieldhouse Podcast. We'll see you when we see you.